We have the CEO of Student Support Philanthropy Program.
My name is Calvin Waiswa.
I saw you providing some of the purifying jerry cans.
Now, a solvatin unit is just a simple jerry can that cooks water, but using the sun. We started amateurish at that time, but while we were working there, the needs in the community just kept on growing.
Hey viewers, I hope you're doing well. Welcome to this episode of Meet the Founder. I'm sure you're asking, who's our guest for today? Did you know that water is life? Most communities, especially the slum areas, they have challenges of poor contaminated water. But Mr. Calvin Waiswa came out with a solution to help those people. We hope by the end of this show, you will have learned something from our guest. With me, your host, John Paul Seguya. So today, in Meet the Founder, we have the CEO of Student Support Philanthropy Program. I'm sure you're asking yourself, what does that mean? Just keep tuned and you'll hear from the man himself. So, Mr. Ian, you are most welcome on this show. We are so glad to have you. Someone watching you would like to know who Ian is.
My name is Calvin Waiswa. I am the Executive Director of the Student Support and Philanthropy Program. My academic background is demography. I did a Bachelor's of Population Studies. Yeah, I am 28 years old. I started doing what I do 7 years ago, and I delight in it. I have passion in it.
We would like to know, how did you come up with that, with the Student Support Philanthropy Program? How did you come up with that?
Well, the Student Support and Philanthropy Program is something we started back in 2013 when we were students. At that time, it was just an ideology. So when we were students, we obviously were paying a lot of money in tuition to learn what we were learning. But the people in the community where we were staying, where the hostels are, the food we were buying, etc., the water we were buying, these people didn't have access to such information or the privilege of being as highly educated as we are now. So we decided to have a portal where we just simply go into the community and copy-paste to them what we've studied in class. That is where the whole student support came in, that these are students and they are supporting communities. And so we started amateurish at that time, but while we were working there, the needs in the community just kept on growing. The problems kept on becoming more complex, and we decided to have a more detailed and more specific approach that saw a lot of pilot studies being done and differently designed projects that had, long-term goals and ambitions. And yeah, that's how we shaped up this whole idea of the student support. Now, focusing on WASH, water, sanitation, and hygiene, to answer your question, we decided to have the most pressing issues at the time. That time we were in Chikoni. Chikoni is a slum, everyone knows that. And one of the key problems that were in this slum were related to water. Water, sanitation, and hygiene. That is why we started focusing on water, sanitation, and hygiene.
Do you deal with only water, or you have other projects you're doing?
Yes, of course our focus areas are WASH. We also have sexual reproductive health. While we do this, of course, we partner with students, both locally here and also international students. We give them a platform where they can come and not only intern, but volunteer to gain experience in whatever they are learning. And there is that knowledge sharing interlock, where you have communities give you data for you to be able to publish your work or your exercises, etc. But also you disseminate back to the community and tell them, yes, we did a research amongst you people and this is what we found. From our own experiences, this is how you can better your situation. In instances like, for example, sexual reproductive health that is a little bit complex, we do a lot of partnering with key entities that can come in where our interactions stop. For example, when you talk of post-abortal care, okay, it is not something that the student support does, but because of the work that we do in the communities, you get to meet certain people that have already done abortion, and they're in a very tricky situation. How do you help them? So you recommend them, you refer them to necessary entities that do that.
So we would like to know, do you have a criteria of selecting your beneficiaries, or you just go to the community, then you give each one of you, if each one of the households who needs the services you're providing?
No, from the onset, we've always defined who our beneficiaries are, and we are more interested in the low resource, what would define a low resource community. So when we look at a household, we look at a household that is poverty stricken. So we come to you and we gauge the household income, okay, against household expenditure. Now, when we gauge those, we know your purchase power and see how we can easily boost you to be able to afford the services we are trying to populate within the community. Yeah, so, but we focus on low resource communities.
I saw you providing some of the purifying jerry cans. We would like to know about those jerry cans.
Jerry can is a Swedish backed technology. Now, a solvaten unit is just a simple jerry can that cooks water, but using the sun. That way, we are trying to contribute to, fighting this climate change issue, but as well, giving people a ready opportunity to make their water safe, just by placing in the sun.
Well, that's good. So, we would like to know, what are the milestones you've been able to achieve ever since you started this SSPP?
Wow. Yeah, I think the greatest milestone is at community level. Having a household visibly show that they are changing behavior, because our main goal is actually embedded in behavior change. So when we begin with the household and see an entire process change them, and they're able to appreciate at that level, for us, that is a huge step forward, and the recognition that what we are inputting has a direct output. We have done a lot, but to me, primarily, that is the huge milestone that we've achieved. The others, of course, I would talk about a relationship that we've built with different entities that have supported us. Of course, I cannot talk about this work and not talk about ICARE, okay? That we have built pilots with to understand which are the best methods to use that can directly impact the community. So, and having such friends within a donor is something that you can't take lightly. So to me, that is also a milestone. Of course, we have other partners we've worked with, like the Solvaten, whose jerrycan we have populated in the communities. We have recently the MAD group that came in. Okay, recently we hosted a number of students from Stockholm School of Economics.
Wow, while speaking your milestones, you may think you don't have challenges. So what are those challenges so far you're facing as you SSPP?
The greatest challenge that we have, especially working in a Ugandan environment here, is NGOs have been monetized. Okay, everyone who sees an NGO, they see money.
So how are you trying to cope up with the people you're working with?
Once you use an approach that we use, for example, where we pass through the community leaders, where we pass through opinion leaders and plan with them, okay, from the onset, even before we write a project, by the way, we engage these community leaders, and then they tell us where the real challenges are. Then we prioritize those challenges. When these applications go through, we go back to the drawing board and, you know, share with them and tell them these are the resources we have to our disposal.
In the next 10 years, where do you see SSPP?
Yeah, of course, we want to build a bigger base of student volunteers and bring out that philosophy more, that, you know, there is this opportunity we have for you to impact on your community, and then just replicate our successes. Because over these past years, we have done a lot of piloting. We have documented these successes and processes, so we want to replicate.
Someone watching out there might want to come and work with you. They may be students, they may be partners, and all sorts of people who might want to work with you. Do you have anything you're considering them to come on board, or?
There is a saying that commonly goes that for as long as you have $1, you can impact the community. Okay? Even if that dollar is not going to be given in cash, you might use it as transport. So we are saying that if you think you can identify with what we stand for, that is ably displayed on our social media handles, it is ably displayed on our website, our official website, etc., you are always welcome.
As we are winding up, how can people reach you?
Yeah, we have social media handles. Of course, they go by the official name, Student Support and Philanthropy Program, where you can find all sorts of content about our work, our successes and challenges as well. You can use these to actually reach out to us. Our staff will be able to handle you and manage you well. We also have a website, which website has a portal that you can communicate directly to us, and you will be able to get help.
So, my last question to you. What message do you have to the young people out there? Because as you know, that biggest problem we have is unemployment. We have many people who have graduated, but jobs are nowhere. So, you as the fellow young person, what message do you have to those people watching us out there?
One, for me, when I started this journey, I had totally given up on employment, by the way. Because everywhere people were crying, people were competing, there were no jobs. So I was like, now what do you do in such an economy? Okay? But you have your head, you have something you know that a neighbor does not know. And you can pass on this knowledge to them. While you are doing this, at some point, somebody gets to appreciate that you have gained a specific experience and track record, and you know more than they know. So incidentally, they start paying you to do what you are doing for free. Okay? The mindset that people have, and young people these days, is right from campus, they want white-collar jobs. Okay? Yes, the demands, the economy is bad. Of course, living costs are also high. But there is a route, a path, a plan that you can put in place to reach where you want to reach. So young people need to appreciate the process. They need to focus more on learning during that process, so that when they reach a point of actually getting paid, okay, for the work that they are supposed to do, they have more to give than just you know, social media and that kind of stuff.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Ian. I hope you, the person watching us out there, you've learned something from Ian. And as we, SETV, we've been promising you that we shall bring opportunities on your desk You can follow us on our different social medias. That's on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. That is SETV Africa. And you will be able to get different stories, and we hope you will be inspired. If you want to reach me or you fail to reach Mr. Ian, just call me on my number 0756 38 22 87 or 0785 44 52 98. I want to thank our sponsors, that is Instant Rise in Uganda. You're a social entrepreneur out there and you want to grow your business, Instant Rising is there for you. Actually, they have a call for application. Just go to their website, that's www.instantrising.net, and you fill in your application. They will be able to contact you. I want to thank Accounts Plus Uganda. SM is, I know we always find challenges in auditing, so Accounts Plus is there to help you.